Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Off the Ropes with John and Josh. I, of course, am always Josh.
And I am the often imitated, but never duplicated. I'm Jay.
That's right. That's right. And J stands for John. For those of you not sure.
I mean, I got to put my own twist on it once in a while, man.
Oh, man. So,
welcome to episode 17.
That's right. Episode 17. We're rolling along. Jay, how are you today?
Well, after this weekend of wrestling, I am doing okay. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah. I was doing much better before Halloween Havoc, but I'll talk about that later. But first, we are going to get into a little bit of news in a segment we love to call Breaking Kayfabe. That's right. Here we are. All right. So first up, we got a little bit of sad news that I want to talk about. Wrestling legend Tracy Smothers passed away yesterday, October 28th. He was 58 years old. He was diagnosed with lymphoma back in November, and it finally got the best of him. This is a guy who worked all over from WCW, WWF, Smoky Mountain, ECW, JCW, TNA, and all over the place, man. He did all kinds of stuff.
Independence.
Yeah, like I said, all over the place. There he is from his time in Smoky Mountain. So, John, what are your thoughts on the passing of Tracy Smothers?
I'm really sad about this. I had the pleasure of actually getting to meet him a couple years ago. Really chill, dude. Really relaxed, really kicked back. And I mean, like, I can't say like he gave me any words of wisdom that night, but I saw one hell of a match from a man that, I mean, most people would call him past his prime, and he put on a hell of a show. He was actually wrestling IB Green that night.
Nice. Yeah. It's a shame because he was a very talented individual. And anytime you hear, especially, when you hear wrestlers pass away, you tend to be like, you almost tend to think the worst, whether it be drugs or just something crazy. But cancer, man, and 2020 has just been a fucking shit show, I gotta say.
Yes, sir.
And this just adds to it. So very, very sad. Condolences to his family and friends. Very, very, very sad. So we're going to move into, I'm not going to say happy news, but some not as sad type news. Jake Hagar, formerly known as Jack Swagger, for some of you who don't watch some of the other promotions outside of WWE, recently took to his Twitter to kind of drop the mic on Stephanie McMahon. So Stephanie recently tweeted out that she was proud of WWE community team and all their hard work because they got the award for 2020 Corporation of the Year at the PR News conference, nonprofit award, some fucking thing. I don't fucking know. But they got this Corporation of the Year award. And so Jake Hagar clapped back saying, his tweet says, LMAO, I guess lying about over 37 million in quarterly profits so you can fire over 300 people during a worldwide pandemic is a category for an award. And he tagged former presidential candidate Andrew Yang. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know a lot about Andrew Yang. I don't know if he's like from Connecticut or something, and if he's like the senator or something from there. But he tagged him in it. And so because he got tagged in it, he responded, which I thought was kind of cool. So he retweeted, or he commented on Jake's Twitter post saying, "Time will change under new leadership." So I thought that was interesting. So John, what is your thought on Jake Hagar kind of clapping back at Stephanie like this?
Well, I mean, we all know how I felt about the whole pandemic layoff to start. Especially because, there was a lot of good wrestlers who got cut, a lot of good talent overall who got cut. due to that. Not just wrestlers, but like backstage talent, road scouts, so on and so forth. So I think it's really cool to see a former talent stand up for the people who are still there and say something. I mean, that's bravo to Jake Hagar for not allowing them to shit on him.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of awesome. You see this kind of a thing a lot from like the AEW people, wrestlers who used to work for WWE.
Oh yeah,
they just haven't been holding back anymore, and I kind of find it awesome. So
let me ask you this, because I know here at Off the Ropes we try not to get into the political aspects of the world, but
it happens, but we try not to.
That I don't even know how to word it without starting political debate.
Do
you think that Jake Hagar's statement in any way is a shot at the Trump administration as well?
I kind of think the fact that he tagged Andrew Yang kind of is. Because Andrew Yang, not a Republican by any means. He was running as a Democrat originally. And I mean, why would you tag somebody like him in a post like this? You know what I mean? Yeah. If you're not trying to get a little bit political. And knowing that the McMahons are big Trump supporters, you know, they're friends with Trump, all this other stuff. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of what he was getting at.
That's
and obviously Andrew Yang's response is kind of targeted in that way.
Oh, you know absolutely.
I mean? So, I mean, really, it's no kind of, it just is targeted in that way. So, yeah. So it wouldn't shock me if he was kind of going for that in a little bit of a subtle way. So
fair enough.
Yeah. And speaking of AEW, I've been trying to catch up on some AEW over the last few weeks, and I found a couple of issues I wanted to bring up from last week's episode from the 21st. Me and you talked a little bit about this. We saw a musical number from Chris Jericho and MJF. It was garbage. I'm sorry. It was garbage. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. It was garbage.
And I agree with something you had said about that whole situation too. Not to take the words out of your mouth or cut you off, but when we talked about it, you used the term that WWE fans would, you know, be like, "Oh my God, if we did that, we would be fucking made fun of." But because it's AEW, you know, people are going to fucking eat that shit up. I haven't found very many people who have been receptive to that segment. A lot of
you know what? Yeah, I saw Renee Young retweeted it about it and was like praising it or whatever. And yeah, a lot of the fans were just not having it. I mean, obviously, yeah, there were some that were like, "Yeah, that was awesome. Oh, it was hilarious. I loved it." But the majority definitely were in the same boat I was. I was really fun.
I'll go with you on this one as far as say that I think as a skit and the comedy angle it was hilarious. Is something that should have been on the product? No, not as much.
Yeah, it's something I almost would expect from WWE. I mean, just look at what we saw recently with Law and Otis, where they did the courtroom scene with Otis. It's like that kind of shit, which also was not good. That kind of stuff I expect from the WWE, not from AEW though. You know, AEW, I expect I don't know if I want to say a more realistic. I don't know if that's quite the word that I'm looking for, but you know, a more wrestling oriented as opposed to shitty, gimmicky stuff like the skits and shit. Like I don't know. Again, I'm trying to catch back up because I had kind of fallen off. So I don't know when this switch happened that they started. I don't know if they've been doing stuff like this throughout, like for the last few months or something. I don't know. but I hope that it's not a regular occurrence. To be honest.
Well,
yeah. And there was one other thing from that episode of AEW, and this is something that's been going on in AEW for, I assume, since it started, to be totally honest with you, and that is professional jobbers. I'm not a fan of professional jobbers. We've got people just who are literally there to lose, and I don't understand that. Specifically in that episode was Kylan King. And if you watch her match with Britt Baker, she is a good wrestler. Like, she has talent. But going into that match, she's 0-11. And you know that all she's there to do is lose. So she's walking out of there 0-12. And I am not a fan, and I wanted to get your take on it.
Well, let me ask you this in a different manner. And then we can use this to segue into another topic on the list of things to talk about today. If AEW didn't put up their little statistics at the bottom of the screen, would you even know that person was a professional jobber? Would that be in the back of your mind?
Yes, because I remember her name from when she got her ass beat by Nyla Rose? Is that her name?
Fair. That's fair. Because, WWE has professional jobbers as well.
Because the thing is, with WWE's, though, they bring them out usually during commercial breaks, and you don't get to hear their name. I mean, you might if you're in the audience, but you don't hear their name.
There is one, though, that sticks out, which is where I will use it to segue into the next topic of discussion. Brian Myers, better known in the WWE, Kurt Hawkins. 208-day losing streak.
Fair enough, but he didn't come into the company as that.
I mean, he didn't come into the company as that, but I mean, these people aren't given, a win, and then most of the time they lose. No, they literally lose every single match. No, I mean, I get that. And that's shitty too, because like you said, a lot of these people are good workers.
It's like, if you want to have a professional jobber, don't tell me their name. Don't tell me their name.
I think it's kind of it's a show of respect, even though they're burying the person. It's
I don't see. It's like, you know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like, we're gonna shit on you, but we'll at least let the people know who you are. And it's like giving them the scraps, It's like, yeah, she's getting paid. Sure. She has a job. Sure. But I don't like the concept of professional jobbers. Have an actual match. Have Britt Baker actually face an actual person. And it's like,
it kind of reminds me of the...
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, it kind of reminds me of like the early 90s, back when like you would have a jobber fighting a superstar, and you wouldn't get superstar versus superstar until like a pay-per-view.
Yeah, but see, with that, I mean, it wasn't like what AEW is doing. Like, jobbers should just be like locals, really. If you want to just have a quick squash match, like, I don't like because like, now I know who this person is. And anytime I see this person, I know she's going to lose.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, okay, you got Britt Baker versus Kylan King. Oh, Britt Baker's winning this match. I can go to the bathroom now. Doesn't matter what happens in this match. Person
never picks up a win now.
And I hope she does. I do, but she's 0-12 now. I don't see them changing that anytime soon.
No, probably not. That's why
unless they decide, hey, we see something in her and she could really be something, and they start giving her an actual push. I just don't see her getting one random win. You know what I mean?
No,
because whoever she beats, they're burying that person.
Well, you could always flip that around though, and say someone like Jon Moxley, who hasn't even suffered a loss yet in AEW. He's like 22-0 right now.
Oh, is he? See, yeah. That's wild.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't even suffered a loss. So, I mean...
Yeah, and I mean, he should, be honest with you. No offense to Mox. I love Mox. But nobody is unbeatable. I don't care who you are. No.
What about Bill
Goldberg? Even Goldberg with his stupid 176 or whatever it was still beaten. And Mox has been beaten in the past. Like, maybe not in AEW, but in all the other places he's worked. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's an unbeatable force.
Believe that.
Yeah. So yeah, that is my opinion on that stuff. And now we are going to switch over to Impact Wrestling or TNA, whatever they're calling themselves these days. I honestly have no idea. Okay. So first up, Impact has announced that they are bringing back the Knockouts Tag Team Championships, and that they will be crowning new champs on January 16th. John, are you excited for these to be back around some waists? Look at these beautiful titles.
I mean, those ones have never been around anybody's waist. Those are brand new.
That's true. But in general, are you excited for the Knockout Tag Team titles to be back?
Absolutely. I even have a prediction for who I think the inaugural winners are going to be.
Who do you think?
I do believe it's going to be Jessica Havoc and Neva.
Okay, cool. I don't really follow a ton of Impact, hence the reason I wasn't even sure if they were calling themselves TNA or Impact or some other thing. But I know you kind of try to keep up on those. So if you think that those are the top contenders for this, I'll take your word for it, sir.
I mean, unless they're going to bring ODB back and put Eric Young and ODB back together, but.
Now, I got to say, I do think that these are beautiful titles. I really like the play.
I like them, too. I think they have a really good look to them. But Impact has an amazing set of championships anyway.
Yeah. I think it's pretty baller. Pretty baller. All right. So, also from Impact, we had Bound for Glory recently. And during this event, Heath, I think he's going by Heath Miller now, formerly Heath Slater, suffered a hernia during the event.
Yeah, man.
At first they weren't sure what had happened. During the match, he started like grabbing his stomach and went down. He was apparently originally slated to win.
Yeah, that was going to be his win to get himself his contract.
Yeah, and so obviously they had to change stuff. It's being said that this hernia may require surgery. Obviously, not something that's planned for, and it may take him out of action for a bit. So, what are your thoughts on all this?
I mean, I feel really bad for him because, I mean, Heath Slater's a phenomenal worker. Well, Heath Miller, Heath Slater, whatever we're calling him.
You can call him Heath Slater. I don't care.
And I understand, like, this is a recycled storyline from, like, WWE. You know, he's fighting for his contract, whatever. But he was actually slated to win at Bound for Glory and then gets hurt. And, now the nice thing about this is that they were quick on their feet and they let Rhino win. Now, Rhino is using this win to use his opportunity to have Heath Slater in a match with him. And I have a feeling they're going to use that to get, their storyline back on track when Heath comes back. So, boom. But Bound for Glory overall was a really weird pay-per-view this year.
Yeah.
So from the
Heath Slater ain't the only weird thing that happened, right?
Well, did you hear about the wedding?
I did not. Tell me about this wedding.
So, the Demon Bride Rosemary was supposed to marry, I think his name is Johnny Bravo, or Bravo. I don't actually remember his name. I think it's Johnny Bravo. And during the wedding ceremony, the lights go out. There's this really bad, overdone audio of a gunshot. They turn the lights back on. Bravo's out, gunshot wound. Tommy Dreamer drops to his knees, and he's like, no! And then they cut.
Oh, my God. It's really...
But, I mean, we had a couple of returns at Bound for Glory, which was really cool. We got to see the return of the Sinister Minister. I'm a huge fan of
James Mitchell.
James Mitchell. We got to see the world's smallest wrestler, Swoggle. Boom, boom.
Really? He's over there? Wow.
Well, he was there before, and now he returned.
Again, I don't keep up on Impact, so I didn't even know he was over there.
A wrestling show, not a WWE show. Okay.
Hey man, I try to keep up on AEW. Oh. So WWE and AEW, that's kind of what. There's a lot of product, bro.
Dude, there is so much product.
A lot of product.
We need a correspondent to start covering all of like New Japan and like Ring of Honor.
I think we have a guy who would do that. I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he totally would.
He's got a donkey somewhere.
He probably is wandering through the desert
with his NXT championship.
Yep.
Oh,
it's
man.
True. It's true.
All right. So what's next on the agenda of talking?
Also happening. We're not done with Bound for Glory, sir. Kylie Ray no-showed during Bound for Glory. Now, multiple sites have reported that she traveled to Nashville to work the event, and she did not. They're saying that she did not miss the match due to injury. I haven't seen anything that specifically says what happened. Maybe there's something out there that I missed, but I have not seen anything that actually specifically says what happened. It says that no one would comment on the circumstances, and PWI, some sources told them that she is in good standing with the company still and will return when she's able to. Rumors are that it's some sort of like depression kind of thing. I don't know. That kind of stuff can hit you hard. And I wrote these notes for the show a couple of days ago, and at that point, she had not tweeted since the night of the event. So I don't know what's going on. John, what are your thoughts on this? It's just kind of crazy to me.
Well, I have a different train of thought on this. So follow me on this journey, because this is the first time she's done this. Exactly what she did to AEW before she told AEW she needed a break from professional wrestling and then showed up in Impact Wrestling. So do you think there's a possibility that she has some kind of anxiety for bigger events?
I mean, it's possible. It could have been some sort of panic attack type of a situation.
Because I mean,
it's very possible.
I mean, this is the second time she's done this. I'm assuming this has probably happened before on like indie scene stuff where people haven't really documented it. But like, she was going to beat Dina Purrazzo and take the women's championship. Like,
yeah,
you don't just show an event like that. That's the biggest match of your career right now.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, something had to have happened. You know what I mean? To cause that. And the fact that sources are saying that she's still in good standing with the company makes me think that it's not just she blew it off kind of a thing. Like it's something serious, but not like injury, death kind of, you know what I mean? Apparently they avoided doing a whole, she got beat up in the backstage because apparently they thought about that, but they avoided it to just in case something like that did happen.
I hope that whatever it is isn't a serious thing, and I hope that she's able to come back from this. And I hope that it's nothing that's like debilitating. I really hope that it's just like an anxiety thing, and
hopefully she can get help for, like see a therapist if you have to, or whatever, get on some sort of anti-anxiety meds if that's what it is,
Absolutely.
It's just, because you don't want that kind of thing to happen. Otherwise, you're just not going to have a career if you can't be there for the big moments.
Like yeah,
and it makes me wonder. Then since it's happened before, was it the same kind of reason? And did you what company was it that she did this in?
AEW.
Do you think? I'm wondering if AEW, if maybe she didn't tell them why. You know what I mean?
All I know is that she told them that she needed a break from professional wrestling because of, I don't remember the exact term she used, but I'm pretty sure it was mental stability. But then all of a sudden showed up in Impact Wrestling like a week later.
Oh, okay. Which just doesn't make it look good on her.
It doesn't. Yeah, and like I said, like this is a very similar situation at this point.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, I hope she's okay, and I guess we'll see as it goes on. So
yeah.
Next up is an interesting story. So I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of our viewers out there who are familiar with backyard wrestling. If they know us, if on any sort of personal level, then they probably have experienced some of our backyard wrestling. Yep. However, luckily, what happened in this next story never happened to any of us. And
knock on wood.
So a backyard wrestler who was dressed up like Wolfpack Sting broke his legs during a match. And if you're like, how did this happen? Don't worry, folks. I got video, and we're about to watch it right now.
Our first match is a tag team match. Scheduled for 1 fall under Extreme Rules. Introducing first.
Yeah, fuck. Oh my God. So this is definitely not the first time either of us have seen something similar to this happen. I mean, I don't know what the year was, or well, you probably do, but Sid Vicious breaking his leg, and that was pretty bad. But I'll be honest, I think this one is worse. Not just because it was two legs, but just like the visual of it. John, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to prelude by saying I don't remember the video quality of Nitro being so terrible.
Nice
to still out there trying to keep business going.
Yeah, you know what? Got to get the word out there. Got to get the word out there.
I say this. I have been really keeping up with this story since it happened because I feel really bad for this guy. And Dude. Today I was reading an article that Chris Jericho and I believe it was Joey Janela donated money to this guy.
Oh, that's cool.
And now they also donated to the Buffalo Brothers when they had their car accident. So I mean, it's excuse me, nice to see the Brotherhood of Wrestling staying strong. Especially because, I mean, that's a horrible accident for anybody to have dealt with.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fucking double leg break.
Yeah.
On top of that, so I've been, like I said, I've been really following this story, and I want to say something on a personal level of this, where being a backyard wrestler, you go out there, you're putting on these shows for small crowds to little to no crowds sometimes, and it is a dedication. But reading the comments on the video of people commenting on this guy just being a yardie and being a shitty fucking wrestler, first off, what we do is what we do. Yes, injury is a very uncommon but a possible thing to happen, but this is a fucking person. You do not wish that kind of shit on somebody. Like, He broke both of his legs. That dude probably has a family. And a lot of the shit I was reading today was because the article had said Jericho donates money to independent wrestling. And a lot of people were like, oh, when did the Backyards become indies? Well, first off, technically, the Backyards is an independent show because we're not fucking paid, or we're paid very little.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, it's not one of the big corporate brands. There you are.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
And I'm sorry. I mean, I recently saw a video and I shared it with Josh that was a bunch of our backyard. I'm sorry, it was a bunch of our independent wrestling friends and family powerbombing another independent wrestling star through a fucking piece of wood.
Yeah.
Doesn't that now make them yardies? I mean, what's the fucking difference?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm taken back by this because, I mean, that dude, understandably, yes, he hurt himself. It's funny, but it's bad. It's a horrible fucking accident.
But here's the thing. Let's say this guy was, I don't know, fixing his roof. And he climbs down the ladder and he hops off the bottom two rungs, just hops down to the ground. And he does that same thing. Are they going to make fun of him? Be like, oh, he's a shitty roofer.
Right?
It's not like he was in the middle of the match. He just hopped down off of something.
Yeah.
What he did had nothing to do with whether or not he was a good wrestler. You know what I mean? It had nothing. He literally just hopped off of something. That happened to me when I was 16 years old at a playground. I hopped down from one platform to another and blew out my ACL.
Well, so here's my question. I will back this up. So this dude is a yardie, which, okay, so he's a yardie. If that would have happened to Rey Mysterio, or God forbid, when it happened to Sid Vicious, did people shit on Sid Vicious? No, you were sympathetic to him. Oh my God, his leg broke mid-match. What?
Yeah, exactly.
What's the fucking difference?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not like I said, all he did was hop down off of something. It's not like, oh, you have to go through years of training to hop off of something.
No.
It's not how it works.
And like you said, that's just a freak accident. I mean, people do that kind of shit all the time.
Yeah, all the time. So,
all right, I'm done ranting.
It's wild. That's okay, man. I totally get it. There is a GoFundMe set up for this guy, so if you are inclined, I will put the link in the description to this video and on the podcast. If you're listening to it on Anchor. So if you, like I said, if you are so inclined to donate to this guy for his medical bills and whatnot, go click on that GoFundMe link and send whatever you can. So,
hell yeah!
All right, and we have our final story of the night, and this has to do with something that you and I have talked about multiple times, and that is retribution, and why. Over the last few weeks, they have essentially begun to be buried. So, as we've seen, I don't even think since they've become a thing, I don't think they've won a match, as far as I can remember. I don't believe I've heard that they've won any matches. I don't know if you know any different, but as far as I know, they have not won any matches.
I am not aware of them.
Yeah, so a story came out talking about the reason behind this essential burying of this team. Now, this is a group that had a lot of potential, in my opinion. You know, they came on strong, tearing down the WWE from the inside, and I thought they had a good thing that they could have gone with. And when we covered the draft. You and me talked about this. I thought it was a mistake that they put both the Hurt Business and Retribution on the same show because they're not going to put both of them over. It's just never. Nope. It's just not going to happen. So apparently, some sources at Ringside News have learned that the reason why Retribution is being buried is a simple one that has happened so many fucking times in the WWE. And that is that Vince McMahon just lost interest. And that is it. So, John, What are your thoughts on this?
Called it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't really have anything to say on this. I'm over Retribution. I told you when we recorded
the last episode, that's the whole thing. Like, we shouldn't be over them. You know what I mean? They should be a fucking dominant stable on one of the brands right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Tearing house, fucking wrecking shop all over the fucking place.
One of the major issues I have with Retribution is what they stood for and how they essentially sold themselves out when they signed contracts. Like, I'm sorry.
It. Yeah.
Like, you're here because you're tired of all these guys who are making money on their craft and yada, yada, yada. But the moment you sign a contract to Raw or SmackDown, you're negating everything you're talking about. So,
yeah.
Sorry, not sorry. Yeah.
What they should have done, and this is just my opinion. I'm not a writer for any wrestling promotion other than Championship Backyard Wrestling, which is what you and I obviously put together. What? I believe that, hey man, I wrote some damn good storylines. What I think should have happened is this stable should have been essentially off the books, continuing to do their thing. But then maybe Steph or probably Shane, to be totally honest with you. I think he would have been the one to really kind of deal with them, if anybody. Agree to allow them to have a series of unsanctioned matches with certain people to see if they can actually kind of, I don't know how to phrase it, but like if they can show that they've got it, I guess. And so that way they're keeping that whole, we're not signing with this, with the company kind of a thing going. These aren't employees or whatever. These are all unsanctioned matches. And then down the line, maybe Mustafa Ali gets a big head, and decides, I want that money. I want that notoriety. And he turns on Retribution and joins WWE. And then it can go from there. That's what my opinion should have happened. I don't know about you. I don't know if you think that's a good idea. I don't know if anybody will think that's a good idea.
I would have booked it slightly different. Okay. So they come in. They're trashing everything. We don't like you guys because you're fucking making this money. We're going to tear apart the WWE. I would have went old school NWO. Instead of them, though, being like the NWO, they're on the roster. They're taking roster guys. You've got these 5 to 6 people who aren't anybody. They're free agents, essentially. They show up where they want, when they want, and they do what they want. Me and you were having a match. They come out. They beat both of us down. Leave both of us in the ring. They show up another match. They beat both of those guys down. Leave them in the ring. And then, have them interfere in the Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton feud. Have them interfere in the Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt feud at the time, which is now the Jey Uso, Roman Reigns feud. Have them start coming out and causing hell. And then when all these guys are like, whoa, I'm getting tired of, I'm not going to have my match if these guys are going to keep coming out here beating me down. Because now I'm getting hurt. I'm risking injury because you're letting these rough shots show up here. And God forbid I get hurt while I'm carrying your championship because now I'm not getting paid sitting at home.
Yeah.
Enter the storyline where you're talking about with the Authority. Stephanie comes out. Shane comes out. We can't let you guys do this because you're hurting our superstars. Retribution lays both of them out.
Okay.
There is no race. There is no gender. There is no specifics. If you are in our way and you are not Retribution, you're against us and we're going to put you out.
Okay.
That is exactly how I would book it. And then,
but where would it go? Where would it go? Because that's, other than beating down the Authority, that's essentially what they were doing. They were just coming out and interfering and beating people down.
Well, at some point, you would have to have them sign a contract. At some point. But you can book it into, like you were saying, you do, bring it around to WrestleMania. You let this run wild for almost a year. Have at WrestleMania, either you fight us or you get the hell out of the company and we will, have you, legalized or whatever. And the match is, if the WWE team beats you, your Retribution would have to sign contract. If the WWE guys
Survivor Series, they could have built, because I feel like a year might be too long
but Survivor
of that.
Series is literally next month.
That's my point. How long has Retribution been around?
Just months. Before Mania.
No. Yeah. So think. I mean, like I said, I don't think it's been that long, but it's been a few months. I think a year. I think people would get tired of it, but at that point,
Probably.
I think. So, I think if they had been consistently doing what you're talking about, having them come out, do this on a week-to-week basis, from the time they started, and then doing all that stuff, beating down the Authority, then leading into like right now, they could have been okay. Listen, this is what you're going to do, and then you have that 5-on-5, Team WWE versus Retribution. Now, there it is. I think that would have been perfect.
There is one thing, though, I would do with Survivor Series that's never been done before on a pay-per-view either.
Okay.
That match would be an intergender match, and the men could fight the women.
Oh, okay. I dig that.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Retribution isn't holding back at this point, man. They're attacking. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. The way I'm booking it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. You get in their way, you're done. So you let the men fight the women because you get a couple of tough women on. That's where you could make Charlotte look like a real good hero if she was back in time. Or you get somebody like Asuka.
Rhea Ripley. If you get a chance to watch the Halloween Havoc match, which I'll talk about, dude, her or even, Raquel Gonzalez is a beast too.
She is.
They are powerhouses and they've worked with Mia Yim. You know what I mean? So I think they'd be perfect.
But that's what I'm saying, man. That's how I would have booked it.
Yeah. But that's the problem with WWE. They think maybe a month in advance at the most. I don't even know if they think, I'll be honest, I don't even know if they think that far ahead anymore. I really don't. It would surprise me.
They used to do 6 months at a time.
Yeah, they used to. And that would have been perfect. A roughly 6 month program for Retribution would have been something, and it like if it was done right, like the way we're talking, would have been something fucking phenomenal.
This is why I keep saying I should get in as a writer, man. I have these ideas. I could do shit with them. I could make money.
I think, and I'll be honest, I think that, in what you're talking, they could have beaten down the Hurt Business without the Hurt Business losing any steam.
Yeah.
Because they're literally beating down everybody. Nobody is immune to Retribution. Yeah. Including the Hurt Business. Yeah. And it would have been, oh man.
You could have even done an angle where instead of them attacking the Hurt Business, they go to interfere in one of their matches and they take a mic and they're like, you know what? We're not going to attack you. We respect you. And you just put the mic down and walk away. Actually,
I kind of dig that too because it would build the Hurt Business even more. Like their whole, what they're trying to put, out there and how they have this kind of almost like a bravado going on. I think that, man, damn, that bums me out that they did such a poor job with them.
Yeah. There's one thing though, if you're going to do that with the Hurt Business, if you're going to do that angle with the Hurt Business, you've got to start putting the tag titles and tease a heavyweight title run.
Yeah.
Because you literally would have Retribution out there causing the distraction enough that they would be able to pick up wins and stuff. And
yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, that finishes off Breaking Kayfabe.
Breaking Kayfabe!
And we are going to move right into the random show, the real show, the show among shows, the show. And we're going to start off. It's okay. We're going to start off with, well, actually, John, do you want me to just talk about Halloween Havoc before we actually dive into Hell in a Cell? What would you prefer? Since you didn't get a chance to watch it.
Doesn't really matter at this point. If you want to.
Yeah, let's do that a little bit. Just kind of get it out of the way. That way you can just focus on Hell in a Cell and then end the show after that. So NXT did this past Wednesday did Halloween Havoc. They brought it back. It has been 20 years So almost to the day since Halloween Havoc. And this was the 13th Halloween Havoc. So I thought that was kind of cool. You know,
I do like Halloween Havoc. It was always one of my favorite pay-per-views.
Yeah. So this event was hosted by Shotzi Blackheart. Love her. She's awesome. And they did 2 matches under a new stipulation, at least new to me. I've never seen them do it. Maybe they have. I don't know. Called Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal. I didn't know this was going to be a thing. And like I was texting you while it was going on, and I was like, "Holy shit! They're doing a wheel for all the matches," because I thought that's what they were doing. Because they opened the show, first match was a wheel spin, and what it was, they spun the wheel, and it shows the match type for it.
Yes.
Turns out they only did the opener and the ender, the main event that way, which I was bummed about. I was really hoping that every match. I think that's one of the things that kind of took away from this event. If they had done every match with this wheel spin, I think it would have been a lot better. Have a weird random stipulation for every match. I think it would have been a lot better. It is what it is, though. So one of the things I noticed about it, the set design, I thought was absolutely fantastic throughout this. They had fucking all kinds of cool shit throughout the arena. And it was one of my favorite things. They also, I don't know if this was just for this event, but the plexiglass around the barricades also had chain link fencing on them.
Ooh.
Again, I'm assuming that it's because of the Halloween Havoc thing. I don't know. But I thought it was actually really cool that they did that. So the show started off with Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano. What we like to call the pace setter. Damian Priest came out first, and he gets in his ring and he's rocking out to his live played theme, which I thought was pretty cool. They did live played themes for both him and Io Shirai, which obviously we'll get to later. Yeah, so I thought that was really cool. So like I said, this was a wheel spin match, and they landed on Devil's Playground match. Sounds pretty neat for the North American Championship. Now, a Devil's Playground match, pretty simple. No countouts, no DQs, false count anywhere, anything goes.
Okay. So a hardcore match.
Yeah, essentially. Johnny Gargano came out in some pretty sweet Jack Skellington gear, which I thought was cool. And I thought this was a pretty solid match. The two of them really going at it with one another. One of the things that bothers me about these NXT events that they do on like just regular USA is the commercial breaks, because like I don't know when they started doing it, but they started doing the picture in picture during some of the commercials. They don't even do it during the whole break. They do it for some of it. And there were some big spots during it. Like Damian was using steps, like the stairs during the commercial break. And I'm like, what the fuck? I can barely see it because it's so small and you can't hear anything because all you hear is the commercials. And the fucking commercial breaks are so fucking long. It's like, if you're going to have a big event like this, at least do limited commercials. I don't know. It really bothered me. This first match alone had 2 commercial breaks. I'm like, come on, what the fuck are you doing? But I mean, that doesn't necessarily impact my feeling on the actual event itself. That's USA and how they do all that bullshit. Johnny Gargano. So Johnny Gargano did something during this match that was very reminiscent of our time in the backyard, and he demolished Damian Priest with a fucking trash can. Just fucking demolished him with it, and it was awesome. It like, we have used the metal trash can so many times, and just seeing it happen, I'm like, yeah, that takes me back. It was pretty awesome. I dug it. It was a decent match. Johnny Gargano picked up the win after somebody in a ghost face costume came out and hit Damian Priest with a lead pipe, and then handed Gargano a tombstone in which he blasted Priest with. Now, they never confirm who this person is. This person does show back up later on during the main event, and I am positive that it's Robert Stone. Just saying. I feel like it would make the most sense for it to be Robert Stone, but they don't reveal who it actually was throughout it. So again, like I said, it was a solid match. I thought it was pretty worthy of a pace setter match, but it was decent. After the match, so before the match and throughout it, they didn't show the commentators, which I thought was weird. They usually do, but they didn't. But you could hear them. It was Wade Barrett and some other dude who, honestly, I don't remember what his name was. And when they finally, after the match, when they finally showed the commentators, Barrett turns to the guy and he's like, "What are you wearing?" Because the other guy was wearing a Where's Waldo costume. And I'm sitting there like, you've been fucking sitting next to him the whole fucking match, you idiot. Like, really? Am I supposed to believe that you just happened to now notice that he's wearing a costume? I don't know. It felt kind of stupid to me. I just I thought it was not a great thing. Then in my notes, I have 3 simple words, John, for the next thing. One of the next things that happens, and that is fuck Pat McAfee. I don't like the guy. I don't like him one little bit. So he, they showed like a little bit of him talking to a couple of dudes who it's the tag champs, and I can't for the life of me remember what their names were. I read their names and I'm like, I'm never gonna remember that, and I forgot to write it down, so it doesn't really matter. But it's the tag champs, and then it kind of cuts to a scene of Cameron Grimes backstage freaking out about having to face Dexter Lumis, and Regal tells him to go outside because he's getting carted off to his match. Because his match is a haunted House of Terror match. We'll get into that later. So then they go back, and it's Pat McAfee. Once again, I literally write in my notes, once again, fuck Pat McAfee. He starts railing against the internet wrestling fan community. And they're just talking all this trash, and Kyle O'Reilly comes out, and he's like, he's ready to get in it with McAfee. And then all of a sudden we get a return of the bruiserweight Pete Dunne. He officially made his return to NXT. He's been gone since March. He comes out with a couple steel chairs in hand, gets up like he's gonna work with Kyle to take out Pat McAfee and these other dudes. And lo and behold, Dunn turns on O'Reilly and takes him out with a chair. And then everybody just whoops the shit out of O'Reilly.
Oh,
kind of a bummer. It's cool seeing Dunn come back, though. But fuck Pat McAfee. That's all I got to say. So they get to a cutscene. Cameron Grimes again, still freaking out, finally goes outside. And there's a white van that pulls up. And there's like this creepy fucking dude in the front seat. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? Then the van opens, and out strolls none other than Michael Hayes. You heard me. Michael Hayes. And like, as soon as he walks out, because like, I don't watch as much wrestling as I probably should, right? As soon as he comes out of the van, I'm like, oh shit, is that Michael Hayes? And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Michael Hayes. So I had to Google like a picture of him just because like maybe I'm wrong. Nope, was definitely not wrong. And I was really proud of myself for recognizing him. I thought it was funny. But yeah, it was a funny little spot. Grimes gets in, the van takes off. So like they work this whole Cameron Grimes thing like throughout the entire show. Little bits here, little bits there. And eventually when we get to his match, they don't even do the whole match in one shot. So we get the match of Jake Atlas, who I had no idea who this was, versus Santos Escobar, who is the current cruiserweight champion, but this was a non-title bout. So no title on line here, which I thought was kind of disappointing. I was like, what's the point of this match? I just don't understand the point of it. And this is when I realized, apparently they're not doing the wheel with all the matches because it's just a normal singles match, but for no title with these two guys. Okay. Santos was wearing some Rey Mysterio Halloween Havoc inspired gear with the like purple question marks and whatnot. Thought that was kind of neat. Atlas got a little bit of offense, but not much. Santos won fairly quickly. It wasn't very long. Again, I don't understand what the point of the match was. It just seemed like filler. And then the fact that it followed a whole bunch of filler in the first place really kind of like, I was like, what the fuck is going on? They had a decent pace setter, but even the first match wasn't like fucking insane action packed. Like, it's not like I was still riding the high from the first match. Like, I was kind of like, what the fuck is going on in this event? I didn't understand what was happening. It was followed up by the Cameron Grimes, Dexter Loomis match, the Haunted House of Terror match. This was a cinematic match, kind of reminiscent to the Boneyard match, to the Swamp Fight, that style of match where they go somewhere else. It's dark and it's kind of horror themed. So I was like, okay, that's cool. Maybe this will be something. But like, almost as soon as it starts, I'm like, fucking Cameron Grimes is such an overactor. It's so obvious, and it just takes you out of it. Then so like he's kind of wandering around looking for Cameron Grimes, for Dexter Loomis. Dexter Loomis is up in a tree at one point. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Dexter Loomis is kind of cool. Like, he's ominous, and I think that him in this match fit. I think Cameron Grimes was the one that just didn't. He stuck out like a sore thumb in this match. Cameron gets in the house. It's like a creepy fucking horror movie house. And like he's walking through the rooms. He goes to one, and there's a ref standing with his face to the wall in a corner. The ref turns around, and he's like a fucking zombie or possessed or something. I don't even fucking know. He runs away. Loomis chases him around. Then there's this one scene, which I'm like, what the fuck is the WWE doing? Grimes winds up in a bathroom, okay, because he's trying to hide from Loomis. And you hear the shower running, and he turns toward the shower, and you see the silhouette of a woman taking a shower in it. I'm like, okay, where's this going? And then what does Cameron Grimes do? He's like, oh, yeah, and he starts taking his clothes off and shit, like he's going to get in the shower with this girl. And I'm like, really? With the whole hashtag speaking out stuff, you're going to really have this guy be a fucking creep and go to get into the shower with this random girl? That's really think that's a good idea? I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? It was so fucking bad. It's like, I talked about how that fucking musical segment was bad. That was fucking Oscar worthy compared to some of this shit. I would have taken that 10 times over other than some of this shit. It was terrible. Yeah. Eventually Grimes gets out of the house, gets to the van. Loomis is in the van. Of course. Grimes gets out and just runs off screaming down the road. And it's like, to be continued. I'm like, what the fuck? Are they like, what the fuck did I just watch? So we, it cuts back to the arena, and it's the next match now. And we get Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez, two of the biggest powerhouse women in the WWE right now, I got to say. And they had a lot of good back and forth. They work really well together. Raquel power bombs Rhea into the cage wall plexiglass, which I thought was pretty fucking awesome. Some big maneuvers happening. Rhea picks up the win. I thought it was a solid mid match. I really did. I really thought they did a good job. And coming from like two powerhouse, like bigger powerhouse type of competitors, that tends to not. Those tend to be a little slower. But these two women, they know how to fucking move. They know how to wrestle, and it was a damn good match. I was really happy after all the fucking shit from Pat McAfee, the shitty singles match that didn't need to be there, and the fucking shit from Cameron Grimes. I'm like, I'm glad I finally got something worth fucking being glad I watched out of this fucking thing. So I was happy about it. I feel like I wish it was a little bit longer, but unfortunately it was not. And my enthusiasm kind of dropped a little bit as they cut to kind of Cameron Grimes again running down the street. And then it goes to a commercial. I'm like, what? Why did you just show me that? I didn't need to be reminded of that. Like, come on. Then we get one of the funniest parts of the night. I don't know if you heard any of this, but Drake Maverick. He's dressed up. He's dressed up as Hollywood Hogan, doing his thing. He's like being interviewed by one of the girls back there, which was hilarious. And he's doing a full Hollywood Hogan, trying to act like it. And then some other like wrestlers come out dressed up as some other older wrestlers. And then one guy I don't know who the guy was because he took the helmet off eventually, but I didn't recognize him because I'm not super up on a lot of the NXT talent. But he was dressed as the Shockmaster, complete with the sparkly Stormtrooper helmet and everything. That's and he comes out the curtain in the back, and Drake turned to him. He's like, "Dude, you're supposed to be the Shockmaster. You're supposed to trip coming out." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I saw that thing." He's like, "Nah, I'm not doing that." and Drake's like, "Dude, do you understand how long it took me to make that helmet?" And he takes the helmet off. He's like, "Here, you can have it." And Drake puts it on, and he's like, "Oh," and he kind of like walks off, and he fucking Shockmasters himself. And it was awesome. It was fucking hilarious. I absolutely loved it. Oh man, it was good stuff. Oh, and after some of the shit I watched, I needed a good laugh, especially because of what was to come next. And that was the continuation of Cameron Grimes versus Dexter Lumis. Grimes makes it back to the arena. So he runs all the way back from this haunted house that he was at, back to the arena. And apparently the zombies, or whatever the fuck they were, followed him as they're in the arena now. And Lumis is there too. And they start fighting in the ring. Grimes fights a fucking zombie or whatever. Lumis throws a zombie girl at him. And then he slams... Fuck this fucking match. Then he slams him and chokes out Grimes for the win. And the thing is, there was no ref. So it's like, is this actually a win? There's literally no ref. So I don't know what the fuck the whole point of this thing was. It makes no point. And it makes no sense to me. I don't understand it. And I'm sure you can tell what my worst match is going to be before I even get to it. Yeah. So that was how that ended. We get a promo of Tommaso Ciampa kind of talking about the state of NXT and all this stuff and how, shit needs to change, essentially. And kind of previewing a little bit of his upcoming match next week with Velveteen Dream. So I'm interested to see, because he talks about how all these current wrestlers, they expect things to be handed to them. They're like, he talks about, he's like, all these wrestlers now, they're like, it's my turn. And he's like, no, it's not your turn until you earn it. That kind of a thing. And I'm like, damn fucking right. Somebody needed to say it. People are like, you got to earn your fucking spot. It's just not your turn. Because that's one of those fucking things that pisses me off about people like Ronda Rousey. We've talked about it lots of times where they just get their fucking shot when they didn't, earn it. And I fully believe that you need to earn your shit before you get it. So
I agree.
So I'm actually pretty interested to see how that match plays out next week. And then we get into the main event, which is Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai for the NXT Women's Championship. It was a spin the wheel match, and they landed on tables, ladders, and scares match, which turns up a little bit in this. So, as I said earlier, Johnny Gargano was wearing a Jack Skellington gear. Candice came out wearing Sally gear, which I thought was really cool. And like I said, Io she came out to some live music as well. So one of the first things Candice had of body parts on it. So I'm like, that's where the scares is coming into play. I was like, it's fucking stupid. But it made me laugh, but it was a little stupid. And Candice fucking blasts Io in the face with a laptop. Yeah. Like from the announce table, she just picks that thing up and bam! Just takes her out with it. It was kind of awesome. We get so much good hardcore work in this match. Like, you had that fucking Devil's Playground match at the beginning. She didn't get nearly as much good hardcore work as these ladies do. You get Candice gets suplexed onto an open chair. Candice sends both her and Io through a pair of tables. Like, all kinds of sick shit happens throughout this. Like I said at the beginning, Ghostface comes back, picks up Candice, because this is, like I said, it's essentially a TLC match. And so you have to scale the ladder to get the title. So after they both go through the table, Ghostface comes out and picks up Candice, gets her into the ring, starts carrying her up the ladder. She drapes her over the top of the ladder because she's essentially out at this point. And then Shotzi comes up in there and takes him down and like whoops on him, gets him out of the ring. That's why a big reason why I think it's probably Robert Stone, because they have a little thing going on where ever since she ran him over with that tank, which was fucking hilarious. And then she finally wakes up, but you can tell the ladder's offset. It's not directly under it. So she ain't getting it. And then Io gets in there, sets up the ladder. They're fighting or whatever. And earlier in the match, Candice set up a ladder between the ring and the announce table. One of the long fucking ladders. And so while they're battling on the ladders, Io knocks Candice's ladder over, and Candice just fucking goes right through that fucking ladder. Like Jeff Hardy style. It was sick, dude. And then Io gets the title and retains. It was wild. I'll say this. For a lot of lackluster shit throughout that match, they ended it on the highest possible point they probably could. Only reason is that my score is not going to be as low as it could have been. So real quick, I'll go through my best and worst and whatnot. Worst match, that's definitely the Grimes Loomis. Like, that whole thing was just fucking bullshit. It was so, like, I hated it. MVP, Candice LeRae. I have talked before about how I'm not a fan of hers, but dude, she showed up during that fucking match. She took bumps that I was not expecting, and she worked her ass off to make Io look good. And she deserves the MVP for me. Moment, I did the final 2 minutes of that main event, which included the table spot, the Ghostface versus Shotzi thing, and the ladder spot. Fair. All of that combined was that was the best part of the whole fucking show. I gave an honorable mention, though, to Drake Maverick's shockmastering himself, because it was hilarious. It was like the thing that made me laugh the most throughout the whole thing. And then best match of the night for me was actually Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez.
Wow.
I thought it was fantastic. Just like, I thought it, like, the whole Candice LeRae match was great, and it was almost there. But I don't know, it was something about that Rhea Ripley match that just really grabbed my attention. And it being just like essentially a simple match, you know what I mean? What they were able to do during it, it sold me on personally. So 3.5 boots for me. It would have probably been like a 2.5 to 3, if not for the way they ended the show. So that's the only reason it got a boost for me, was because they ended it on such a high note that I was like, bravo on that. Otherwise, yeah, it probably would have been a lot lower. But that's just me. Maybe I'm just being too nice about it. I don't know. All right. So I talked a lot about that. Now we're going to talk about Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell.
I talked a lot, John. I'm going to let you take over for a little bit. Let's talk about the kickoff show.
Absolutely. So, as me and you were texting about this the other day, the kickoff show, I really like the hype packages. The hype packages are really starting to make a great comeback on drawing my interest in. I still don't like that I see them on the pre-show and in the main event, or like the main show, but I'm getting past that. Okay. Let's talk about R-Truth, though, for a second. in his constant interruptions of the pre-show. Now, they even recognized it this time after the interference by mentioning that this is like the 4th time he's done it. And it played off as just this huge joke. Oh, R-Truth, what are you doing here? I heard it's Raw Talk. Little Jimmy told me it's Raw Talk. Here's my 24/7 7-Eleven Grand Slam. Thank you, Bam. Blah, 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 blah. And then he walks away. It's fucking annoying at this point. Stop doing it. You're taking away what the pre-show is all about.
Yeah. There was one thing that I thought was actually pretty funny, though, about his part of the pre-show, and that was him calling Jeff Jarrett Road Dog.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty funny because Jeff Jarrett was out there for the pre-show, which I thought was cool. But him calling him Road Dog, I was like, oh, fucking R-Truth, you son of a bitch. That's funny.
I also thought it was funny that they kept calling Peter Rosenbaum Sam, and you corrected me as to why they kept calling him Sam, and that is great.
Yeah.
The pre-show
I haven't seen Sam in a while, so I think it was a couple of pay-per-view. I think it was. I think it was In Your House. I want to say it was the last time I saw him. He did some of the In Your House stuff. Yeah.
The pre-match or the pre-show match for Hell in a Cell was R-Truth defending his 24/7 7-Eleven Grand Slam Wham Bam. Thank you, ma'am. Interstate. I think he said 160.
Maybe, but you forgot something, John. Before this match happened, pretty much right after R-Truth left, another person came out.
Oh yeah, Mr. Elias.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he decided he was gonna, diss on Jeff Hardy and diss on Jeff Jarrett. And I'll be honest, I was so bummed that Jarrett didn't stand up, pull slap nuts out, and just out kabong his ass. I was really bummed about it.
I
really
agree.
Bummed. Yeah. Then they also re-showed the court case, which I hadn't seen because I'm pretty sure it happened on SmackDown, the SmackDown that was before the pay-per-view, and I wasn't able to watch it because it wasn't airing on Fox because of the World Series, and they switched it over to FS1, which I don't get through my cable provider, so I was unable to watch it. And so I didn't know that this had happened. So I'm sitting there watching this. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is fucking stupid. Like, it's not the first time they've done a court case, and it was kind of stupid then. And this was far more stupid. Yeah. So, yeah. We can get into the match now.
So R-Truth versus Drew Gulak for the 24/7 championship. And let me just start by saying congratulations to Drew Gulak for doing what somebody should have done a long time ago, and that was beat the fuck out of that little bastard, little Jimmy.
Dude, he did too. He did too, man. He punted him like a Canadian kid on South Park.
I mean, there's not anything really special about this match. Like it was quick and it was over. R-Truth obviously looks good because R-Truth can't lose his championship. Why the fuck would we do that?
I think R-Truth really showed that he still has the skills. You know what I mean? He looked goodness.
He looked phenomenal.
I even think Gulak looked decent in this. I was actually kind of surprised. R-Truth pulling off John Cena moves, that never gets old for me. I don't know. I think it's hilarious.
I love the hype that the commentary team puts into it, though.
Yeah.
Oh my God, R-Truth imitating his childhood hero. Ah!
I'll be honest. That still makes me chuckle. The whole John Cena is his childhood hero. I don't know why it shouldn't because it's so stupid. But for some reason, it still makes me chuckle to this day.
I think I'm just over this whole R-Truth thing. Because everything about him is just a fuck up joke.
Maybe I get that because
I loved him when he was Ron the Truth Killings. Like he's an athletic dude. But I'm saying like he has potential to be a great wrestler and he could be a great mid-carder. But sure, let's make him a fucking joke who gets his own title belt. He's like the $1 Million Man.
No, yeah, absolutely. It could be the truth title, you know. Like you said that before.
Title, obviously, and that they go back to doing some hype packages for the fucking pre-show, and it ends the pre-show.
Even before that, he gets chased out of the ring, and you never see it, and you never see anything from it because he doesn't come back.
Nope.
At least unless he came back when I wasn't looking, but I'm pretty sure I would have seen him.
No,
but he gets chased off by Akira Tozawa and the Lucha House Party, and it never comes back.
So,
like if you didn't watch the pre-show, you'd have no idea that R-Truth was even around.
No,
I'm just saying.
Honestly,
no idea.
I'm tired of watching the pre-show because I see too much of R-Truth.
No, I get it. That's why I watch it. You don't necessarily have to, but I will always watch it. Retribution, they call out the Hurt Business. Setting up the whole match that we see later on where they essentially tell the Hurt Business that they can pick both competitors, from their own team and from Retribution. They get to choose and everything. So I was like, okay, that seems stupid, but obviously they're just trying to bury them. And we talked about that earlier. They're 100% burying them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
100%.
Yeah. So let me get into the main show.
Yeah, as we make our way to the main show, they open with a Hell in a Cell match. And
after thinking about it, I was like, that makes sense. You know, there's 3 Hell in a Cell matches. It actually makes sense to start, beginning, middle, end. It really makes sense to me. But when I first realized that they're doing, I was like, oh, why are they starting with this? Like, really? But it made sense later on.
Oh, yeah. So. I thought it was awesome. Opening match was Jey Uso taking on Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship inside Hell in a Cell. Now, this also marks a monumental moment for Hell in a Cell because this was the first time ever we got to see an I-Quit match happen inside of the cell. Now, I have notes for this match because of things, and I know Josh has a whole different side of things he wants to talk about this match. So I'm going to keep mine short and sweet because I don't have a lot of time tonight, sadly. I thought that this was a really great match with a lot of slow moments in between. And I loved this match for what it was because I loved the emotion that was put behind it. But I hated this match because of the slow moments where they're literally just standing there and he's like, I don't want to do this, man. I don't want to beat you up. I don't want to, And then Jay's like, come on, Uso! Come on! Yeah, I'm a Jey Uso! I love that Roman gets to look strong. Jay gets to fly. I love that the cell was used a couple times where Roman's slammed into it from Jay flying. And then I loved Paul Heyman on the outside selling his emotion of oh my God, he's destroying his family.
Yeah.
I will go up as far to say that I loved Jimmy coming out. And now before I spoil anything, I let Josh talk about his side of this.
Okay, so I have definitely a different view of this match than John. You talk about all the I'm just standing around. See, I never viewed it once like that. To me, I'm going to start off describing this match with the way I felt at the end of this match, and I texted you this statement. This was the most emotionally intense match that I have personally seen in a very long time. I think that the way that they have built this story arc has been really well done, in my opinion. I'm just one guy. Using the family angle, I think this was a perfect vehicle for Roman Reigns. This whole storyline, and going into this match, we get, a lot of that kind of downtime type of stuff, which you may not expect in a Hell in a Cell match, but it didn't, that didn't bother me. Because when I watched it, I'm not like, oh, you have to be utilizing the cell at all times. I didn't care about that part because it was the match that I was invested in, and they did use the cell a number of times. So it's not like it didn't get used at all, because it definitely did. And I mean, they used some pretty fucking interesting weapon choices. Like the strap, the way Roman used the steps a few times. Yes, he tried to throw them into the ring once and hit the ropes, and it's probably lucky he didn't. And it's probably lucky he didn't blast himself in the face, which would have sucked as fuck. But I thought both Roman and Jay killed it during this match.
Oh, yeah.
This showed me a side of Jey Uso that I was like, holy shit, this dude's legit. One thing I thought was actually really cool, I don't know if you noticed this, but the dichotomy of their gear in this was
black and white.
It blew my mind, just because it's so simple. Roman, who's the heel, in all black, Jay, who's the face, in all white, and I'm like, that is fucking perfect. It's so well done. And we see it again in the second Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, I really liked that. Just the two of these just tearing shit up. Like I said, both of them just on their game. And I honestly loved the way that they ended this match with, Roman, Jimmy Uso coming out, Roman finally breaking down, crying in the middle of the ring, saying he's sorry, but then snapping and turning on Jimmy and choking him out until Jay quit to save his own brother. Now, the way I look at it, I saw some people be like, oh yeah, he was just faking it to get the win, that kind of thing. I don't think that that's what they're going for. I think what they're going for is he was legit, storyline wise, obviously, because we all know how wrestling works. That he was legit distraught about these decisions and the things that he was doing. But in that split second, he realized keeping the championship and becoming the tribal chief just meant more. Yep. And he did what he believed was best. You know what I mean? And so he took the advantage and became the chief. I mean, we see him as he exits, even fucking Paul Heyman was like in disbelief of what Roman was capable of doing. And that motherfucker worked with Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean? That's how you push a story. That shit like that, the subtleties is how you push a story. And then having the Wild Samoans, Roman's uncle and father out there to give him the tribal beads to essentially say, you are now the tribal chief. I thought it was fantastic. That's just me, but I thought the whole thing was just fantastic.
Now, see, I interpreted, picking back up where I left off, I interpreted the ending a little bit different, but same storyline where you're talking about. I see him sitting there crying, apologizing for everything. I see the apology as like I'm sorry for what I'm about to do to you.
I think it's a little bit of both. You know what I mean? It's like he's sorry that he's sorry that for what he's done and what he has to do, because he knows how this is going to end. He knows he's not just going to quit, and that's how the match is going to end. You quit. That's it. He knew that it had to be one of them. So.
Oh yeah. So obviously Roman Reigns retains his championship, and this was an amazing match. Might have been a little slow, but damn.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So next up, we got a not as good match.
So
it has one of John's favorite wrestlers in it.
And that's the sad part. I loved one of the competitors.
You love Elias. No, yeah.
And then, so obviously Elias comes out. He starts to try to do a song because, he's got this new album launching Monday, blah, blah, blah. And while he's trying to sing, gladly enough, he's interrupted. Thank Jesuses.
All of the Jesuses.
I have a question to ask you about this.
Yeah.
Is the only way to do a good Jeff Hardy angle anymore to keep referencing his fucking demons? Because for the last 6 months, every time Jeff Hardy gets in a feud, they're like, "You're a fucking drug, you messed up. You're a fucking loser. You fucked up your life." Is this what we're going to see from WWE for Jeff Hardy from now on?
I think it's a similar thing to what we talked about earlier with Retribution, is that the writers just don't fucking know what they're doing anymore, just in general. I don't think they, for the most part, know what they're fucking doing, unless it's like a top tier storyline. Yeah. They're just like throwing shit at a wall at this point. They're like, "Oh wait, we got to do something with Jeff Hardy. Drug addiction. Okay, go."
I mean, this match wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't the worst match I've ever seen. It definitely wasn't the best match I've ever seen. I mean, you got your classic Jeff. You've got some really great shit from Elias. What I thought was really weird, though, was the booking for the end of this match, where Elias goes for the guitar, and then Jeff rips the guitar out of his hands, blasts Elias in the back, and the ref disqualifies Jeff Hardy. Now, clearly, it's going to be a disqualification in favor of Elias winning because Jeff Hardy used the guitar. But are we fucking stupid in the fact that this is Hell in a Cell? You could have just booked a no DQ match and let some crazier shit happen and had a good match, but instead, make Jeff look like a fucking whatever.
Exactly. And they didn't even let Jeff Hardy really be Jeff Hardy. And I don't want to say that all Jeff Hardy's good for is high flying spots. That's not true.
Although
because he still showed
something crazy.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like they look like they were setting something up where he gets up and he's standing on the fucking top of the ring post.
Yeah,
ready to do something. And I'm like, was he supposed to do something? And it changed, or what was the point of seeing that other than a fucking cock tease? You know what I mean? That's what it felt like.
Yep.
It's like, he's gonna fucking do it. Nope.
So, like I said, I mean, Elias gets the win. There was nothing special about this match. I wasn't really invested in it either because there wasn't a big build up to this.
Yeah, I mean, I like that Elias got hit with a guitar, but I don't think it fit Jeff.
Yeah, but I feel like that happens way more often than it should.
Probably.
I guess that's the guitar. He's constantly getting hit with the guitar.
Yeah, maybe he should just stop coming out with a guitar. I'm just saying.
Maybe he should mentor Double J.
Maybe.
So, follow-up match on that, we get The Miz versus Otis with the Money in the Bank contract on the line. Because, God forbid we, let the Money in the Bank champion or the Money in the Bank contract holder actually hold it. No. And they referenced that this is the second time that this has ever happened.
Yep.
Second
time. First time was in 2007.
Now, do you remember
2007?
Who it was?
Yes. It was. I remembered who it was, but then I had to look up what year it was. It was because it was Mr. Kennedy, and he lost the briefcase to Edge, who then went on to beat The Undertaker for the title.
Yep.
So it's been 13 years since anything like this has happened. And I'll be honest, I feel bad for Otis that they that they did it to him. That's shitty, Now,
again, this match was kind of thrown together last minute. I mean, it's had its build up, obviously, but this has been a culmination of a bunch of storylines between these two melding into one. And it's still not over because, I mean, clearly after the match, Spillwell's backstage. But I mean, this match was exactly what I expected. Otis looks strong. Miz gets his couple moments in there.
I mean, Miz had a sick boot right off the bat. Fucking sick boot. It was wild, man. And go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm constantly tired of Otis though, because they even showed it during the courtroom scene where he's supposed to be being serious because he's being on trial. He's just like, oh yeah.
I'm like, no, I get it. Yeah. And we had some, interference here and there from Morrison doing some stuff. Eventually, he gets booted. Eventually, the ref boots him.
Jessica for booting him.
I love her. She's awesome. She's my favorite ref now.
She's got to be my favorite WWE ref.
It used to be Charles Robinson. Nate Jr. But little Nate. But I definitely think it's her. She is. Every time I see her, I'm like, she's doing the true job of a ref. I feel like every time I see her in action, I'm like, fucking hey, man, let's see more of her. And real quick, there's one thing I want to talk about really quickly that happened during this match that bothered me, and it actually has nothing to do with the match.
Okay.
And I mentioned this to you while I was watching it. The fact that WWE is piping in not just audience noise, which I'm fine with, but piping in chants.
Yep.
Specifically during this match, a "You suck" chant.
Yep.
Which I'm like, really? You're trying to force feed us, trying to tell us that we have to believe that the Miz sucks.
Yep.
Like, really? Really? Like, I think that's pretty shitty, in my opinion. I'm just saying.
Oh, no, I agree with you. I think it's weird at the same time.
And they do it again, not with that specific chant, but they pipe in another chant later on, which I'll bring up when we get to it.
Well, they did it in the last match too with Elias. They did the walk with Elias.
Oh, I didn't catch that one, to be totally honest.
Oh, yeah. Because he did the WWE stands for, and then they did the WWE crowd chant, and
okay.
So, but back to Miz Otis, I'm 95% sure WWE took my advice and got themselves a outside writer for this match, and I'm pretty sure it was Mr. Shyamalan, or is it M.A. Whatever. I'm pretty sure it was him though, because there was a huge twist ending.
There was.
Tucker takes the briefcase, clearly blasts Otis in the face, to which the Miz is like, pins Otis 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Miz is now a second time Mr. Money in the Bank.
Yes, he is. And he successfully cashed it in once. Can he do it again?
I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping. Now, like I said,
it's been 10 years. So
yeah,
it's been a long time.
This fills backstage with Miz and Jomo talking about how Miz has the briefcase and he's going to do great with it. I have a note here that Jomo should not go clean shaven because he looks weird.
He does, man. I thought his face looked real fat.
Yes,
I don't know why. I'm sitting there. I'm like, is that actually Jomo? I'm like, because it just for some weird reason didn't look like him. No, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I agree. I have Pudgy in my notes.
Yeah.
But then enter Tucker. Tucker talks about how it's always been about Otis. Otis this, Otis that. Otis comes in.
He's been carrying Otis for a long time without getting any spotlight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
And it makes me wonder if they're planning a singles run for him.
Probably, and it's probably going to be a match at Survivor Series, Raw versus SmackDown, because we know that's how it always plays out at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Convenient timing.
Yeah.
So then we get the next match of the night, which is the SmackDown's Women's Championship Hell in a Cell. Now, Sasha Banks taking on the champion, Bayley. Former best friend. Former Women's Tag Team Champion. Former Raw Women's Champion taking on the current SmackDown Women's Champion. In this match, ladies and gentlemen, God damn. I have a few notes here. When they were doing the introductions, when the men came out for their Hell in a Cell match, the cell was down. They walked through the door. Why was the cell up for the women, and why did it take so long for them to lower it?
Because of the spot that happens right before.
Air spot, yeah. But that was
so that that Sasha can hit her, the chair goes flying underneath the cell, and the cell lowers so she can't get to it right away.
Yeah, which was really funny though, because then if you notice during some of the shots, it was on the corner of the barricade.
Yeah.
And like somebody picks it up.
Yeah. Somebody moves it right next to the cage so that she could reach it.
Which I thought was fucking weird because I'm like, well, why did they move it to start?
Yeah.
But
no, yeah. I thought that.
So
too.
I have a couple really cool notes about this match, and one of them is the Meteora with the table assist in the fucking cell where
babe.
Oh my god, that was a great fucking Meteora.
One of my top spots was the kendo stick. Just like a horizontal kendo stick that they did. Oh, dude, I don't know if I've seen that before.
I have never seen that before,
but it was awesome.
I really have to say the ending of this match, the bank statement through the chair, that was phenomenal. I have never seen something like that done before, and I was really, really impressed with the display of like the way like Sasha's really kicking the chair, trying to like get it like the added pain in there, and Bayley's holding out as long as she can. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was.
Now,
this whole match was okay. So you talk about in that first Hell in a Cell how. I don't know if you mentioned it during this, but I know you mentioned it to me at least off air about how it didn't quite feel like a Hell in a Cell to you because it wasn't utilized that much.
It wasn't utilized.
This match was the exact opposite of that, and it was so utilized. It was probably the most utilized Hell in a Cell that I can remember. It was insane.
On that.
Yeah, it was wild. Just how much stuff these two were willing to put themselves through and how awesome it all looked.
Oh, absolutely.
And I feel like there are too many things to like I wrote down so many like spots that got hit. I'm just like, fuck, there's so many.
That match was full of like moments where you're just like, oh my god, I gotta talk about this. I will tell you this: if you guys, like, we're really recording this it's Wednesday. No, it's Thursday.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen this match yet, you need to go on the network now and watch this match. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal. And not AJ Styles. So then we go backstage with the Hurt Business, of course.
Yep.
And pretty much it's just a promo to who they're going to fight from Retribution, and they choose Slapjack.
Yep. And who did you say? Because I know you looked up who it was.
Yeah, he was some guy from.
I can't remember who you said it was. To be honest,
I can't remember his name either. I should have written it down.
That's okay. So, he started with the T. I don't know.
United States Championship match where Bobby Lashley is defending against Slapjack of Retribution. Now
they felt they were so confident. Bobby Lashley agreed to have no outside interference, so nobody from either team was allowed at ringside, and he put his title on the line. That's how confident he was in this. Yeah.
Now I will say this: Slapjack really did his best to hold his own. I thought he actually looked really impressive.
Yeah, I thought he looked good at the beginning. I felt he looked a little green to me. I don't know if you noticed that. I was like, oh man, ooh.
Could have been the match.
It's possible. But just like the way he was like throwing some of the punches, I was like, yeah, some of that just doesn't look great. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I don't know, but it could have been. I mean, everybody has an off day, but it just didn't quite look where it should have been. But
obviously, Lashley does his overpower game, and I mean, like, strongly overpowers him. And and like you said, it's bullshit. Like, this is clearly not needed.
Yeah.
And then Lashley retains his United States Championship. Yawn.
Yep.
And then out comes Retribution. Out comes the Hurt Business. There's kind of a standoff, and then they just kind of like, I mean, they don't really fight.
Retribution comes out. They try to take out Lashley, but Lashley fends them off on his own. And then the rest of them come out. And I'm just like, so in other words, Lashley can take out all of Retribution. So like, really, this is how you're like.
And
that's the thing that bothers me.
The Hurt Business.
Yeah.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the WWE main event of Hell in a Cell 2020, which was the WWE Championship on the line as Randy Orton went one-on-one with the WWE Champion, Drew McIntyre.
Yes.
Josh, your thoughts?
I thought this was a very solid match. Now, in any other circumstance, if this were, an event that had just this one Hell in a Cell match, it would probably be the match of the night because it was a fantastic match. But the problem is, it followed up two other, and in my opinion, better Hell in a Cell matches. So
I agree.
Yeah, so it's like it almost felt a little lackluster because of that. Even though, again, it's a damn good match. And it would have been probably the best match of the night in any other circumstance, but
it was a damn good match. My problem with it is that it was coming off the heels of Sasha Banks and Bayley. If it would have followed up Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, you could easily argue that one was a physical battle where one was an emotional battle, and they were equally as good. But when you're following up the war that Sasha Banks and Bayley put on in that ring, it's no comparison.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, nothing against McIntyre and Orton because they put on a hell of a show here, man. Yeah. I mean, they come out right away. Fucking Orton just tries taking them out. They start off not even in the cage, right? Right away.
No.
And it was wild. And I gotta say real quick, Orton wrestling in pants for the first few minutes of this match was really fucking weird. It was really weird to me.
I did think it was really cool that they cut the camera over to Drew while he was taking the pants off.
Yeah, because then all of a sudden, boom, no pants. I'm like, oh shit, he took his pants off.
Yeah. Well, they show him as he starts to pull them off, and they're like,
we probably shouldn't show him stripping in the ring. Okay, let's switch it over here.
Yeah, they can't do that with Garza. But I will say
that's his whole shtick.
I thought there was one missed opportunity in this match. And I know your comment on it was like, holy shit. And I'm like, When they were battling on the side of the cage, or on the side of the cell, I'm sorry, because it's not a cage, it's the cell. And
whatever.
Drew does the fall through the table. I really wish that would have been an RKO. They had the
That's so dangerous, though.
Look, Shane McMahon, 3 or 4 years ago, literally jumped from the top of the brand new cell through the fucking table.
There's a difference, though, because you have to position yourself to be able to throw. Randy Orton would have to be able to position himself to be able to throw himself and grab and make sure that they both hit that table properly. Because if one of them doesn't, they're probably going to be paralyzed.
So even if not an RKO, what about a Russian leg sweep?
Even that, man. I don't know. I think it was too risky for them, and I understand why they wouldn't do it. Especially a Russian leg sweep because you're going back first, and you don't necessarily know where you are because you can't see anything. You can't try to roll yourself midair to because you could theoretically turn yourself to kind of get closer into the table if you need to in a split second, but you wouldn't be able to do that with this. And if you hit your back on the corner, dunzo, man.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I will say,
but I get what you want, and I get why you would want it because it would, if it hits and if it actually hits, would be the fucking sickest thing of the night, probably. But I understand why they wouldn't do that. Yeah.
Now, like I said, I really liked the ending. I like the Claymore setup. I love that Randy ducks it and Drew just shoots over him completely. I love that fucking Drew, right as soon as he gets up, RKO out of nowhere, man. Randy is really becoming a new version of DDP. You don't know where it's coming from anymore.
Dude, seriously. Yeah.
And then no sooner, and I even have in my notes, missed Claymore into an RKO. Seriously, what the fuck? And then Randy Orton gets the pin. Randy Orton becomes the new WWE champion. And he ties
14 times. Yep.
13 times.
Nope. They said 14.
Did
he
they?
Was 13. Yeah, he tied Triple H for 14 times. Yep.
Well, I mean, it's really cool that he's tied with Triple H, who kind
which
of
is the second highest behind both Ric Flair and John Cena.
Yep. Yeah. Who were both tied at 16.
Yep. So this match had 2 piped in chants that I want to mention.
Okay.
The first was a "This is awesome" chant, which honestly kind of pissed me off because if any match deserved a "This is awesome," it should have been Sasha and Bayley.
Agreed.
For all the shit that they were doing throughout that's where it should have been. Then when Drew got put through the comm table, there was a "Holy shit" chant, which I'm like, I thought they used to like edit those out. Why would they pipe that in? Yeah, or like, why would they pipe it in? Like, it was unnecessary. I was like, okay, but whatever. I guess that's what they decided they wanted to do. So yeah, but yeah, I thought the ending. I agree when you say, what the fuck. Because it just out of nowhere, and there goes Drew McIntyre's reign. Yeah. Now, Hell in a Cells typically are meant as feud enders.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure Roman Reigns, so I'm pretty sure that feud is over. He is now the tribal chief. I think Roman Reigns is going to move on. I don't know what's going to happen with Jey Uso. I have no idea. But I have a feeling Roman Reigns is moving on to something else. I wouldn't be shocked if Sasha Bayley is done. Sasha got her revenge and got the title, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if Bayley takes a little time, and Sasha does her thing. Now, Orton and McIntyre, there's no fucking way that this is over.
No,
there's no way. If it is over, I'm going to be very disappointed. Just saying.
That's fair.
So,
all right. So let's talk about wrap-ups for Hell in a Cell. What would you say is your moment of the night?
My moment of the night. I have 2 technically that I wrote down.
Okay.
They're very different. One is a physical moment, and one is something else. The physical moment was the kendo step spots, like even more so than the cell, than Drew McIntyre getting tossed off the cell. The Sasha Bayley kendo stick stair fucking things, something I've never seen, and it was fucking awesome. The other was the ending of that Roman match where he gets emotional and turns on Jimmy Uso. It was a fantastic moment. So I was torn between those, so I just wrote them both down.
That's fair, though, and I get both of those for the different reasons that you chose. Went a little different. I went for a completely physical moment. And that was Sasha Banks hitting that Meteora with the table assist.
Nice.
That was an amazing moment.
There's so many spots in that match, and I'm just like, well, which one am I gonna pick? You know what I mean? Because there were so many good spots throughout that match.
Now, MVP of the night.
This was actually easy for me. As soon as the match ended, I was like, "There's no way I'm not giving this to Sasha Banks."
That is fair. Yeah. I mean,
just looking at what she did throughout this match, showing a side of her that I don't think I've ever seen, and being able to walk away with the title. Yeah, totally. She took it home for me.
I went with a little bit of a different route, and now feel me on this one because I did it for a comedic reason. It's a great reasoning, though, at the same time.
Okay.
I chose Tucker.
Tucker?
For anybody, Tucker, man. For anybody who can go through such a dramatic weight loss in that amount of time and drop almost 300 pounds like that and look as good as he did doing it? God damn, I want that secret.
Fair enough, sir.
This is why I didn't tell you my prediction beforehand, because I wanted that reaction. I wanted the speechlessness.
That's good, sir. That's good.
I mean,
oh, dude.
Worst match of the night.
I would say, what is your worst match of the night?
Lashley versus
mine.
Slapjack.
Yep, 100%. Lashley Slapjack is what I have written down.
Yeah, I honestly thought that Jeff Hardy Elias was just a little bit better.
Yeah, and like when I do these, like I start off the night, I write them down match to match. So it's like, okay, this match was great. Okay, match of the night so far. Something has to beat it. Okay, MVP. Something and that's how I go. And I had Elias Hardy written down. And then we got to the Lashley Slapjack match. And I'm like, nope. This one was taking it. Yep. So it yeah, 100% it's that one.
I'm pretty sure we're going to agree on this next one. But what do you got for match of the night?
We're not going to agree. I am sorry, John. I think that Roman J was the best match of the night. Sorry. I understand where you're going to go. And it was a very close second for me. Very close. Yes. Very close second for me was the Sasha Bailey match. Yeah.
I mean, I respect you. No. We can agree to disagree, though, on why each one was chosen, though. And that's why I love it.
Yeah. That's why I love doing this show with you, because, sometimes we have completely different takes on things. And I love that.
We do.
Yeah. So
ladies and gentlemen, that was the Hell in a Cell / Halloween Havoc / Breaking Kayfabe for you guys.
It was, man. Be sure to check us out on socials. John, where can people find you on the interwebs?
Right here at Simply Sane J1. That is my Twitter handle. You can also find me on Facebook at JJohnMade. I'm not a hard person to find. I'm a very vocal, fat guy. That's just what I do.
That is true.
This guy.
And you can find me on Twitter at JP Raynor. That's JPRAYNOR. Or right here, at Movie Blog Merc. That's for my site, Merc with a Movie Blog. I do all kinds of stuff over there, so be sure to check that out. And as you can see at the bottom of the screen there, Off the Ropes on Twitter at Off the Ropes JJ. Be sure to check us out. I post all kinds of random stuff over there. And if you prefer to listen to your wrestling shows, check us out on Anchor or any of your major podcasting platforms. But Anchor at anchor.fm / Off the Ropes JJ, you can leave a voice message and we will talk about it, play it maybe, depending on what it is. If all you're doing is saying the word cunt a bunch of times, probably not. But, it's a possibility. We still might. But, definitely leave us a voice message. And I think that would be fucking awesome.
It'd be great to hear
with that, this has been episode 17 of Off the Ropes with John and Josh. I am Josh.
I'm still John.
And we are down for the count. Catch you guys next time. What?